my name is Putri Nabilah, and right now, I'm in the Netherlands as one of the IISMA Awardee 2001. And in here, I learning in University of Twente, specifically in the Faculty of Geoinformation Science and Earth Observation. And in Indonesia, I used to learn in Universitas Airlangga, during in accounting. I know it sounds really different from what I've learning in here, but I like it that way. So here, if you look at my background, so this is University of Twente, specifically in Faculty of Geoinformation Science and Earth Observations. And yeah, I will tell you about my story on how I was be here and get accepted. Okay, so my process during how I get into IISMA Awardee is the first time I know this program is from my international office. That time I was in the current state of searching for an opportunity because I already took my TOEFL ITP test, but I hadn't figured out how to use this score. So that's when I scroll the Instagram of the feed and the post on my international office, and then when I found this program, I was like, this program is for me because all the administration requirements are I can get it, and the administration selection is really smooth. I could get easily because I have all the documents that I need. And then when the announcement when I was accepted in administration, then I go to the interview afterwards. With an interview, I prepare my best to answer the questions. Like I do a role play with my friends, and also I ask my college, my seniors, and how to get an interview because this is my first time like having the real interview in English, and also for a big opportunity like this scholarship. And when I passed the interview, it was an announcement. I remember it was like in midnight when I was accepted, and I told my parents like, "Mom, I was accepted." And it was a really happy experience. And yeah, after I got accepted, there are some preparation for until 2 or 3 months before I go in Netherlands. And those times there are some difficult process, like you have to legalize the CVs and you have to translate all the documents, but it's all worth it. And yeah, like finally I came in here. Okay, when I first came here in Netherlands, we have to quarantine for at least 5 days. But that time when my friends are already go from the quarantine, I was tested positive. I know it was a shock, and it's only 3 of us who tested positive, and the rest of us is negative. So yeah, I have to extend my quarantine days until 10 days. But the first time when I come to the classes, like the official one, the offline one, I was a bit shocked by the liveliness of the people here when they're asking questions. Like the lecture style also different. Like they are really interactive. They use many tools when teaching, like for example book club and other teaching tools. Like they do experiments in front of us. That's really different from what I learned in Indonesia. And also when I first came here, I also experienced many culture shock. Like for example about the time zone. Here we are 5 until 6 hours differences from Indonesia. So when I first came here, I have a difficulty to adapt with the time meeting, especially when I have meeting in Indonesia. So I have to wake up at 4 or 2 a.m. just to match Indonesian time. But in order to cope up with that, we usually use a time zone converter. So it's really easy for time management. And beside the culture shock, I also have like a food culture shock, because food in here they're really plain, and they're really plain, and we can't taste any spice anything in Netherlands food. So yeah, I love Indonesian food much better. And also in terms of language, like here people speak English, so we can adapt more easily than in the rest of the country. And also in here I do some kind of activities, like I enroll in a debate club, and I also enroll in a swimming club. And yeah, that's a perk when I study in here. So yeah, that's my activity during my okay, during my study here, I learned 2 courses. The first course is Geoinformation Science, and my second course is Earth Observation. In my first course, we were taught by a lecturer. His name is Mr. Paulo. He's really fun and really funny, really talk active, and really great. Like the way he's teaching is really different from the rest of Indonesian lecturer. Like he's really approachable, and if you have any questions during the lecture, you can always like cut his explanation. And even if you have further questions after lessons, you can ask him directly, and he will gladly answer your questions. It's really nice. And also when I learning here, I changed my study habits. Like I usually learn accounting by reading the book and read the theory, but in here I learn more about practice. We have to know many software, we have to do tutorials and many things that I haven't learned before. So I usually learn with my friends in here, because those who are majoring in the same geographic things, and I used to learn from them. Aside from studying, I also go to library sometimes and make friends in them. I make friends with some Dutch people and with local students in here, like Elina and Hannah. They are really great friends, and they are really open and willing to share Dutch things, and we are exchanging our culture, like talking in our appointment, and we having fun together. And aside of that, before we finish our lecture, we usually have some kind of group project together, and so it's a mix between us Indonesian and also international students. In here we learn a lot from them. We learn from the real case problem in the world. Like for example, in my group project right now, I'm working on water hyacinths in Africa and Lake Victoria, and that's really a nice experience for me because I've never done it in Indonesia before. And also in here we do some cultural activity, like we have done a food festival. In here we together with the people in the faculty, we try each other foods. Like previously we make a stall for Indonesia, and we make many foods like gado-gado, soto, and bakwan, and etc. And I was in charge of giving food from them, and also introducing Indonesian food from them, and that's really a nice experience for me. So after I study here, there are something that really changed me throughout my 6 months of my exchange. The first one, of course, I became more open-minded, because in here there are many differences, whether in terms of religions, in terms of your belief, in terms of your culture. I see the world not just Indonesia, but there are many various how people live their world, and I think I became a lot more open-minded than I was before. That's the first thing. And the most memorable thing that I've experienced here is when I have a chance to travel to Europe. Like when I go to Paris, to Switzerland, to other European countries like Germany and Italy. Each country, they have their own characteristic, and they have their own things that make they're distinguished to other countries. And from those kind of things, I learned a lot, like how we used to live differently, and how we can sometimes copy them in some good way that it's good for us. And also there are some things that I can't forget from here, like the connections with people in here, with other IISMA Awardee, and also with the professor here. They were really nice, and they're a really good connection for me for my future. In terms of, I think I can change, we can copy from the Dutch are their punctuality, like how they value the time. I believe that punctuality is shown from the disciplines and also the perseverance. That's why when we go back in Indonesia, we can at least do a small things just by being on time in our schedule. Also, in terms of other things that I learned the most from here is, I think I could contribute by help other awardee to get this scholarship, and also help them make a community out of this program, and hopefully that we all of us can inspire others to go in the other countries. Okay, from all of the experience that I've been explained to you, I'm officially IISMA biased, because right now I'm being more confident, more open-minded, more brave, more powerful. Be bold to go abroad.